What's up, dudes and dudettes in the internet? My name's Scythe, and we are back again for another Trove on the Xbox One. How y'all doing today, folks? Hope you're doing fantastically wonderful. For today, this is going to be the first episode that kind of kicks off the actual Let's Play series, rather than doing any tutorial stuff, mostly because I'm actually very busy grinding resources off camera, and honestly speaking, it's eating up a lot more of my time than I thought. So this is probably gonna be like the first episode, and then we might go back to doing a couple tutorials, and then we'll kind of continue the Let's Play series while I'm still gonna put all of this into the Xbox Let's Play playlist. I hope I'm making sense here, folks, but I'll kind of explain a little bit of what's actually been going on off camera here, but I hope that you've been finding the tutorials and stuff like that helpful, everybody. Of course, because today is just going to be a normal Let's Play episode, it's going to be a lot shorter, but needless to say, I have been spending all of the time that I can, pretty much any of the spare time that I get, I'm on here and I'm grinding. And I want to give a shout out, I don't think he watches his videos or anything, but Evil Taco 28, he ended up grinding with me just silently for like a couple hours the other day. You know, we didn't even communicate to one another, and honestly speaking, I don't know if you even can, because I've actually set up a couple custom commands and stuff like that in the text chat and everything, and it seems like no matter how many times I use them, I can't seem to actually send a message, so I don't know if that's tied to global or world chat or something. Either way, it's just very broken, unfortunately, but we got our daily out of the way. And then the most important thing is, as you can see right now, we are trying to get into a club, which I'm not trying to get into a club, I want to make a club. And I know that it seems like it's been a million years since we ended up actually getting a club going, and that's because it has been. I've been grinding non-stop as much as I can to try and get my Flux up, but there's a couple things that I do want to talk about today that I am a little bit scared for the console life, you know? First and foremost, there is no in-game economy right now. You know, there's not enough players, let alone nobody's at the end game for there to actually be any use for the player market or anything like that, you know, because even if you try and sell stuff, which I already have been just to try and get my Flux up, nobody's gonna buy it because nobody has any resources or Flux in the first place to buy any of it. You know, it's like even if you did cash shop stuff and ended up buying a very expensive mount, and then you try to sell it on the player market, and it's like, it doesn't matter, even other pay-to-win players are not going to be able to buy any of that stuff because they don't have Flux, because Flux isn't a cash shop item, right? And I'm not saying it should be, I'm just kind of trying to reiterate a point here. Okay, which dungeon should we go do? We should go do this one. I'll explain the ships and fishing and stuff like that in another tutorial video, because I figure I'll try and keep it all in themed, so there will be one video where we're talking about shadow towers and stuff like that. But for all intents and purposes for today, everybody, this is just the normal old Trove series. We're just at the beginning. Now, one thing that I've talked about this quite a bit off camera with a few people, and they all seem to agree for the most part, but needless to say, folks, when I'm sitting on PC and I'm grinding, you know, a couple hours for air gem dust, or even just doing pinata farms and stuff like that, and suddenly it just hit me where the console version of Trove doesn't actually scale based on the fact that this game plays 10 times slower than the PC version, because we're using a controller, because the gameplay itself is very unresponsive, and just, well, not so much the gameplay, but I mean just like the lag and stuff like that, you know, like and frame rate issues and everything, which, you know, that's fine, that's normal Trove, that's not really the problem that I'm trying to get at. I'm just saying that it just kind of hit me, like, it's like I'm sitting there grinding for an hour for like a bunch of gem dust that goes 3 levels into a gem, or 3 chances for levels into a gem, I guess I should say. And I just started thinking, like, whoa, if we're gonna compare grinding gem dust from PC to console, I mean, we're talking like hours more difference. Like, anybody who's at the end game on console it's just naturally going to take them 10 times longer than it would on the PC, just because of how the game plays so differently, you know? And I just started thinking about that, and it's like, they want players on the console to commit an absurd, like, they already want PC players to commit an absurd amount of their real life time, let alone the console version. It's just not gonna happen. So I was thinking, like, it's like they really should have it properly scaled, where, you know, maybe it's something like half of the gem dust required for gem leveling attempts and stuff like that, because otherwise I don't think it's gonna last, you know? Like, honestly speaking, I really, like, PC is already enough, you know? Like, that's already overboard as far as the required grind to actually get to the end game, let alone the console version. Like, it just, I don't know, it just kind of hit me. I know I kind of just keep reiterating the same point. But anyways, on to what I was saying about, you know, trying to grind the Flux up for the club world. The whole point, and the reason why it's actually so difficult, is because there is no in-game economy. So the only way that I can actually grind Flux right now is by legit going around, doing all the dungeons like we just did there, and then I just deconstruct or loot collect all of the different items that we ended up getting, and then I just kind of, fingers crossed, hope that I'm going to end up having enough Flux soon. Otherwise, like, look at that. You know, all that time, and all we ended up gaining was like 100 Flux. So imagine doing that for, like, well, there, we ended up getting another little bit there, but I'm just saying, like, it's like I'm finally close to getting a club world, and here I am, and I've already spent, like, I've spent so many hours just grinding this out, you know, and even right now, we're actually in U3, just because, and we're level 18, just because of all the time that I've been spending grinding just to get the Flux up from all of the gear and stuff like that, right? Like, even, you know, I even went back and rewatched some of my old videos of, like, how to make Flux and Trove and stuff like that. And a lot of it was just based off of the player market and stuff. It's not like, there's no way to actually gain Flux in the free, like, without the players, you know? And that's the thing about Trove on console especially, is it feels more like it's a single player game that just happens to be online, that is really, really good if you end up going around and playing with your friends and stuff like that. But if you're going into Trove on console alone, you're gonna be very hard pressed to actually finding other people, let alone people that you're going to consistently be able to group with and stuff. You know, even joining players, I'm pretty sure, like, very, very soon, if not later today, I'm going to have to put out a little tutorial video that's going to just explain how you actually join your friends, because otherwise I tried to explain that to some people in game, and it's just, it's so confusing, you know, because how is a console player, somebody just completely new to this game, supposed to know that you can go to the social menu right here, the friends, and then click on any of these people that you have added, there's Evil Taco, and then go to the social menu and then join them to actually teleport to them? Like, how is anybody actually supposed to know that stuff? That is the kind of things that should actually be in the tutorial, let alone, also, I ended up figuring out that even though if you hold up, you go to the hub, if you tap up, it opens the inventory. And if you'll just see right here, if I go to how to play, it finally says right there the inventory, but that's not really what I would call a how to play. I would say this is more the controls, you know, because otherwise there's all sorts of different commands and stuff like that. Item 1, item 2, inventory once again, your third class ability, destroy and destroy block, which should actually, I don't know if that's, yeah, I guess that kind of works, but needless to say, like, it's like there's all these secret menus on the game that nobody really seems to know about. I would think so, because you never really see anybody join each other. Now, the other thing too, and this is just a suspicion of mine, is on the PC version, a world itself can have, what, 70, 75 people max, and then it starts saying that the world is full and other people that try to join the adventure portal are going to end up creating their new instance, right? So in the console version, just based on what I've seen, I mean, maybe it's just because I'm in U3 and nobody's playing this game, or everybody's like really already at like U5 or U6 or something like that. But needless to say, I never see more than like 5 people at a time in a world, which makes me wonder if they ended up lowering the player cap that much. But anyways, folks, I'm not trying to nitpick or anything like that. It's just these things that, as I've been spending more and more time grinding on this, I'm starting to see just how impossible it is, even if you're like a pay-to-win player, just how the fact that there's no game economy, you know, like there's no players or anything like that, and the game doesn't work. It just simply doesn't work unless Trove on console it can be fortunate enough to keep all the people around long enough that it ends up creating a community, you know, because otherwise, like on PC, I ended up getting lucky. I started playing this game back when it was closed beta, so there was still a lot of a big opportunity to actually get all this stuff. And back in those times, you know, you didn't need Flux for everything. In fact, the game was actually very much on the fence between Flux and Glim being the top currency of the game. And then the devs started slowly developing in the direction of, we want Flux to be the main currency, while not necessarily giving any way to actually earning that yourself as a player without being able to trade with other people. But anyways, I don't mean to rant about just that today, folks. It's mostly because we're not doing the tutorial thing today, and I do still got to grind up a lot more of these resources off camera for sure. But I just kind of wanted to talk about some of that stuff, you know, now that we are kind of taking a little bit of a breather here. And then otherwise, yeah, I gotta just continue grinding and try to get to 3.5k Flux so that I can get us a club card, and fingers crossed that they're never going to end up putting in some of the more recent updates that they have on PC, because as I said, you know, I'm sitting here struggling trying to get 3.5k, and on the PC version, it costs around 60 to 65,000 Flux in order to actually make a club world, just with all the resources that it costs. You know, it's insane. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, everybody, and thank you for your continued support. Like, seriously, these videos have been exploding lately, and what can I say? I'm very excited about that. You know, there seems to be a whole ton of new people coming into the community and everything like that. So a lot of what I'm talking about right now is mostly, like, if you're a console player and you're just tuning in, this has got to do with my experiences over the years of the PC version, and then jumping right into the Xbox version and just seeing how like how much time you actually have to spend, like just kind of the new player perspective that I never understood until now, is just how impossible it is to actually get into this game, you know? And the PC version is finally getting to the point where, you know, next week they're going to end up having the patch that ends up making it so that you can craft classes and stuff like that. And that's the other big thing, is it's like, the PC version is only just now starting to get to the point where it's going to be accessible, a lot more accessible for new players, including even Flux and stuff like that. You're going to get those daily chaos chests and everything like that, as opposed to right now, like the console version is like 5-6 months behind the PC version. So who knows how long it's going to take before those effects actually come to the console update, you know? But anyways, again, thank you for sticking around for my rambling, everybody. First episode of the Let's Play series, and here we are just talking about all this stuff right now. Again, it might take a little while before we end up getting to the next episode, or maybe the next episode will be just me grinding some more Flux, because once I end up getting access to the Join a Club, then of course I'm going to do probably another lengthy video talking about like just some of the basic features and everything like that, because there is still definitely a lot to explain about this game, and I would rather do it in a couple bulk videos rather than doing tons of micro videos just talking about one specific element of pop, you know? But anyways, I'm gonna go and make a tutorial now on how you actually join your friends on the console. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe for more daily content. Sayonara, stay epic, and don't worry, PC players, I got a PC episode right around the corner.